Hi everyone, my name is Matt. I'm the youth and family pastor at Cornerstone Church in Marshfield. I'm here today with your Cornerstone Connection, a daily devotional. If it's your first time with us, welcome. We're so glad you're here. Just want to let you know that here at Cornerstone, we're making our way through the entire Bible in the matter of 2 years, and we're doing that through a Bible reading plan through the YouVersion Bible app. And so if you're looking for a Bible reading plan and you want to read the Bible with a community of people, I'd encourage you to do that. You can click the link that's attached to this video and join us today. Don't try to catch up. Just join us in where we're at today. We would love to be reading the Bible with you on a daily basis. Well, currently we find ourselves in the book of Numbers and in the book of Psalms. And today I'm going to take us to the book of Numbers. And we're going to be in chapter 9. And if you've been reading through the plan with us, you know that the Israelites are in the midst of their travels. They're going from Mount Sinai, where they received the law of God through Moses, and they're making their way to the land that God promised that they would settle in. And so they're in the midst of travel, and they also have a place that they take with them, the tabernacle, the tent of meeting, where God meets with his people through his priests. And so his presence goes with his people. And we're going to find out some of the commands, or the main command that he gave them as far as when you are to travel and when you are to stay encamped wherever we stop. And we're going to see how they were to know that. And then we're also going to see how that applies to us. And we're going to see the big purpose that God has in verses 15 through 23 in Numbers chapter 9. If you want to join me there, I think this will apply for you and I today as well. Here we go. Here's what it says. On the day of the tabernacle, that's this tent of meeting, the tent of the testimony was set up. The cloud covered it. This would be the presence of God. From evening till morning, the cloud above the tabernacle looked like fire. That is how it continued to be. The cloud covered it, and at night it looked like fire. Whenever the cloud lifted from above the tent, the Israelites set out, and wherever the cloud settled, the Israelites encamped. At the Lord's command, the Israelites set out, and at his command they encamped. As long as the cloud stayed over the tabernacle, they remained in camp. When the cloud remained over the tabernacle a long time, the Israelites obeyed the Lord's order and did not set out. Sometimes the cloud was over the tabernacle only a few days. At the Lord's command, they would encamp, and then at his command, they would set out. Sometimes the cloud stayed only from evening till morning, and when it lifted in the morning, they set out. Whether by day or by night, whenever the cloud lifted, they set out. Verse 22. Whether the cloud stayed over the tabernacle for 2 days or a month or a year, the Israelites would remain in camp not set out. But when it lifted, they would set out. At the Lord's command, they encamped, and at the Lord's command, they set out. They obeyed the Lord's order in accordance with his command through Moses. So a lot of repetition there, right? When the cloud was resting on the tabernacle, the people would remain encamped and resting where God led them to rest. And then when it would lift up from the tabernacle, they would set out and they would continue their travels. Now, what is the Lord doing here for the people of Israel? Well, he's growing their obedience to him. He's growing their heart to walk in step with him, to expect that at some points he's going to have them camp for a long period of time, and other times he's going to have them just camp overnight. But the point is that when he says stop and rest, they stop and rest. When he says get up and go, they get up and go. He's growing their heart of obedience, because we look at the stories in the Old Testament of the people of Israel and them coming out of Egypt. Their hearts were not bent towards or obedience to God. Isn't that true of us sometimes? It can be just our pride or our stubbornness or our grumbling and our complaining that when we walk through life, we don't necessarily want to stop when God says stop. We don't want to rest when God says rest. We don't want to get up and go when God says get up and go. But what's interesting, the words are different, but the application is the same. I thought of Galatians chapter 5. And I just want to read for you the verses 22 through 25, because I think it applies to this text. It says, "The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Those who belong to Christ Jesus have crucified the sinful nature, the flesh, with its passions and desires." And here it is. Since we, you and I, followers of Christ, believers in Christ, born again Christians, since we live by the Spirit, let us keep in step with the Spirit. That is our goal. Friends, we don't maybe have a physical cloud that hovers over our home or hovers over our bedroom or tells us when to get up and rise, tells us when to stop and go to bed, or where to go and what to do, what job to take, what college to go to, however you want to apply it. But now we have God who dwells within us. And he does give us promptings. He does lead us. He does guide us. And our objective is to keep in step with him. Not running ahead of him, not lagging behind him, but walking in step with the Spirit as he leads us in our hearts and in our minds. So friends, let us keep in step with the Spirit as the Israelites needed to keep in step with God's leading as he descended and ascended, and they were to camp and go out and set out at times. Let us keep in step with the Spirit. Have a great day, friends. We'll see you next time on the Cornerstone Connection.